We're shooting out a $3,000 vocal microphone against a $1 vocal microphone. I wonder, have you ever been part of the way through recording, producing, or mixing a song, and what you hear coming out of your speakers doesn't sound quite as good as what you hear in your head or what some of your other favorite songs and records sound like? And then in the middle of fighting through and working on that song, you think to yourself, if only I could have fill-in-the-blank expensive piece of gear, then my music would sound as good as I know it could. Well, I know for one that I'm certainly guilty of thinking those things and being there before, and my name's Christian Hale, Billboard charting producer-songwriter right here in Nashville, Tennessee. My music's been streamed hundreds of millions of times, has gone viral on social media, has been licensed for TV and film by all the major brands and networks. So in this video, shooting out the $3,000 microphone against the crappy $1 microphone, we're really gonna find out together, how much does nice expensive gear matter? Is it important or is it not? Or can you get away with much less expensive gear with a little bit of skill and some technique? So let's get into this video and find out together what the differences really are. So the song that we're looking at and demonstrating on today is a song called Get It Going by one of my projects, Outskirts. This song just came out a couple of days ago because Dude Perfect actually licensed this song in their epic island dodgeball battle video. Super grateful to Dude Perfect for using this song. And I'll be the first to admit, a lot of what I do is actually recording and producing for other artists, other voices, and I truthfully don't consider myself to be much of a singer, but this song is fun personally because I actually sang what I thought was the throwaway scratch vocal on the song, but it ended up being the final vocal, and then Dude Perfect picked it up. Let's start by first taking a look and listen at the $3,000 microphone, my Manley Reference Cardoid. So when I originally wrote and recorded the lead vocal on this song, Get It Going, it was through my standard chain that I record most vocalists on here in the studio. It was my Manley Reference Cardoid through my Neve 1073 in the UAD Apollo, into my Blue Stripe 1176 into the Apollo, right here into my standard vocal chain, which I actually broke down on part 3 of the vocal production series. You can find that down in the description below. We'll break it down isolated here in a moment, but in the context of the track, the $3,000 vocal microphone, the Manley Reference Cardoid, sounds like this.
Right about now, I think it's time to get it going. Let's go, let's go. Let's get it going. Right about now, I think it's time to get it going. Let's get it going. Right about now, I think it's time to get it going.
So aside from the singer, which is a little questionable because that's me and I don't really consider myself a singer, but aside from that, I listen to that vocal, I listen to the microphone, the vocal chain, all that, and I think it sounds pretty good. Like, I listen to that and I think that's what a modern pop commercial vocal should pretty much sound like. My Manley Reference Cardoid, through that chain that I recorded this through and through this chain of plugins that I mixed through, is pretty much what I use here in the studio day in, day out, in slight variations on all sorts of genres, styles, singers, like pretty much anything. I know that that microphone sounds good. It should. It's an expensive, nice, large diaphragm tube condenser microphone, and then here in the computer, I just tried not to screw it up with the editing, mixing, and plugin settings. For a more detailed listen, let's solo up that lead vocal, and really functioning as the lead vocal here is not just this lead vocal track, but there's 6 tracks, really 3 takes of left and right. So this is a left-right, that's a left and a right, and that's a left and a right there on the Manley. Really, all of that is functioning kind of as a stacked lead vocal. That in isolation sounds like this.
Right about now, I think it's time to get it going. Let's go, let's go. Let's get it going.
And while we're at it, let me actually drag this up here. I'm going to pop auto-tune up here as well. And let's hear just the lead vocal track in isolation with no mixing plugins on.
Right about now, I think it's time to get it going.
Yeah, and when I hear that, I think that that sounds like a really good, clean vocal that I'm able to mix and manipulate a variety of different ways. Like, it's doing me a lot of favors. It's not sounding bad right off the mic, right off the preamp. Obviously, the mix sauce and the vocal chain adds a lot of magic. But yeah, I think it sounds great. Like I said, it should. It's a $3,000 Manley Reference Cardoid. There's really not a singer or not a style that hasn't worked for me with that. So if you are in the market for a nice large diaphragm tube condenser microphone, that thing will work great for you. And all sorts of producers and songwriters that I'm friends with here in Nashville and LA use that microphone. That microphone's all over town here. It's great, but How does it compare to this crappy $1 microphone? Which honestly, I might be lying in this video. This might not have even been a $1 microphone. This might have been a free microphone. I have no idea what this is. Like, do you guys know what this is? Drop in the comments down below if you know what this microphone is. I think I got this thing like 10, 15 years ago from some maybe like random church closet or something. Shout out to some random church closet if you've been missing this microphone for 10 or 15 years. I'll send you $1 if it's yours, or maybe it was a buddy's. Looks like it's been put through the ringer. I've truthfully never plugged this in, so we're gonna plug it in together, see if this thing works, see if we can even get signal, and I'm gonna record with this microphone in real time and see what the heck this thing does and see how it stacks up to the Manley Reference Cardoid. So here is the $1 microphone. All right, so first things first, I got my in-ears in, but we gotta figure out, do we even have signal that works on this microphone? Let's find out together. Plugging it in right here. We should be coming down the pipeline here on channel 2 on the console. And like I said, let's see if we even have signal. Looks like something's lighting up. Hey, hey, check, check. 1, 2. Check, check. 1, 2. All right, friends. We got some signal. It's some kind of signal. I mean, yeah. It like, I've heard worse sounding microphones before, I think. You know, sans my beautiful singing voice, we might be able to make something happen with this thing here, but it's a microphone. Yeah, like, I think this might be enough of a something to track into the chain here and manipulate around and, you know, kind of see what we can't make happen with it. Yeah, I'm going to bypass the mix bus right here because my Pro Tools users know that the mix bus can sometimes cause latency when you record. To have a detailed look at what my mix bus is, go check out one of my more recent videos on the channel where I break down my mix bus settings. This is pretty much a slight variation on the same settings I broke down in that video, so you can go check that out. But yeah, this microphone I think is... something's gonna happen. Let's find out together. Let's just record this thing right here into check, check. Yeah, so we're getting signal, and I am recording in here into this chain of plugins with auto-tune on, going through the settings here and monitoring through the UAD console. Hey, hey, get a little bit of... I don't need any reverb. We don't need any of that junk. But yeah, let's try to record this and set the gain and see what this thing does and sounds like. Here we go, I guess. Hey, right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Yeah, I'm gonna back off the gain, maybe just right about now, just barely. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Hey, hey. Hey, 1, 2, whoo. Yeah, I'm just blessing the internet with those vocals right there. No, we're just doing enough to get by. I think that gain structure should work. Looks pretty close visually here to what we got on the Manley. Yeah, let's make it happen. Let's do a pass on this crappy microphone, or maybe not crappy, $1 microphone, not necessarily crappy microphone, and really get a true comparison there. So here's the lead vocal. You ready, set? Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Let's go, let's go. Let's get it going. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Woo. Let's get it going. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. All right, something happened. I am very, very curious to mute this thing and pull up my PMCs here and just see what happens on a playback. I have no idea what's going to happen. Something's going to happen. All right, here is a playback of the crappy microphone with no editing, no nothing. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Yeah, let's hurry. I mean, low key, I don't think that's terrible. Let's solo it up. I mean, the tuning needs fixed, and I'll fix it here in a moment. But this thing in solo,
Right about now, I think it's time we get it going.
low key, like not terrible. And I am running it through distortion here on this decapitator through this old radio voice preset, kind of set like that. But if I get rid of that and just go clean,
Right about now, I think it's time we get it going.
like low key, that is not awful. Let me tune this real quick. Like, let's do a quick Melodyne. Just to kind of like, you know, apples to apples. The Manley had been all tuned up and time corrected, so that kind of helps, but
Right about
we'll just get the big stuff.
right about now, I think it's right about now, I think it's time we get it going.
You know, I know I'm melodyning over here, but one impression I have right out the gate, and like this is to be expected, the Manley has like really nice crystal clear high end. Honestly, like if you're not in an accurate listening environment, the Manley or other nice large diaphragm condensers, a lot of time I'm having to spend my mixing efforts actually controlling and taming that high end. There's definitely a lot more lower mid range, honestly, a lot more like this SM7 or a Shure SM58. I think this is a dynamic microphone. Like that's the impression I get. It looks like one. Kind of sounded and acted like one. So probably some of that 200 to 500 hertz range I'm going to have to tame a little bit, and then maybe with that add some brightness back in. But I think like with some basic EQ moves and finishing up the tuning here, like I think we're going to be able to get something pretty decent and fairly convincing kind of out of this thing. We'll put it to the test together at the end, but yeah, like I'm not mad at this so far. All right, so got that Melodyne done. Let's go through and yeah, like you can see some of this hiss and noise and signal through here. Like let's very quickly just go get rid of some of that. You know, maybe slightly less nice, spendy of a microphone, a little bit more noise and signal can make its way in, but this is the process and workflow that I do on my nice Manley microphone, and like that stuff right there, like that sounds like this, like that subtle hiss right there. Never a use for it, never a need for it. So we can always get rid of that junk right there, and like mouth clicks, that gross stuff. Just get rid of that crap. You know, just did it here visually while having a conversation with you guys. Let's though, now that we've done that, just do a quick in solo comparison right here to the $1 lead vocal to the $3,000 lead vocal.
Right about now, I think it's time we get it going.
Compared to
right about now, I think it's time we get it going.
Like no doubt there's way more sizzly high end on the Manley, but let's start to dial in this a little bit. And I'm going to put the decapitator back on because that's kind of the sound of the song.
Right about now,
and let me on this guy go crank the high end a little bit. Let me just solo this.
Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Let's go, let's go. Let's get it going. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Ooh. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Let's go, let's go. Let's get it going. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Let's get it going. Get ready, set. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Let's go, let's go. Let's get it going. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Let's get it going. Right about now, I think it's going.
Yeah, and actually what I'm going to do to make this a little bit more apples to apples is I'm going to duplicate the lead vocal aux right here and do two separate lead vocal auxes. Like, first impressions, not that far in, The Manley sounds better. Like, it has smoother, more expensive high end, but like honestly, like this crappy $1 microphone or what it like, this thing looks like it's been run over by a truck. Like this, it's workable, it's usable. Like already, like if you didn't have that to compare it to with the Manley, like I think it's fair to say, like, that could sound like a totally decent workable vocal. Like I've gotten vocals recorded poorly on much more expensive microphones than this that like sound pretty good. And yeah, that's kind of why I want to dig through here and really tweak the lead vocal aux to be like, how close can we get those? Like, how much more can I get this to sound similar to the Manley? Or and it doesn't even need to sound similar to the Manley. Like, it can be its own thing with its own vibe and its own characteristic. And I think it sounds good. I think it sounds workable. Or you take this example and you think about, well, maybe I don't want a $1 microphone, but maybe $100 SM57 or SM58. Like, I don't know. I think you're seeing here that, like, man, even with this thing, like, we can make this thing sound pretty decent and pretty workable. Yeah, let me go make this. I'm gonna call this lead aux $1, lead aux $1, because I'll brighten this up and hype it up a little on the aux.
Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Let's go, let's go. Let's get it going. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going.
That's
Get ready, set. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Let's go, let's go. Let's get it going.
Let me now take our background vocal tracks and duplicate these down here. And I'm going to get out Revoice Pro, the APT, and do a little bit of just a super quick vocal line, just to get the timing matched up a little bit more apples to apples. Like, these were obviously originally tuned and time corrected to the Manley up there, but if we go tight timing only, render align, the pitch should be close. Let's see what this sounds like. Here is the $1 microphone with the respective BGVs in the chorus. Let's see what happens.
Get ready, set. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Let's go, let's go. Let's get it going. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going.
Let's go compare that back to the Manley.
Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Let's go, let's go. Let's get it going. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going.
And going back to the $1 microphone,
Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Let's go, let's go. Let's get it going. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Let's get it going. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going.
is that a $2,999 difference? Did I waste $3,000? Should I have just gotten this thing all along? I mean, I don't know, man. This thing sounds pretty good. Drop in the comments down below. What do you think? Like, is this microphone right here like low-key a hack? Let's solo up these stacks. Like, now that we've dialed it in a little bit more to really see the differences. Like, here is the stack of $1 right here.
Right about now, I think it's time we get it going.
Here's Manley.
Right about now, I think it's time we get it going.
Here's $1.
Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Let's go, let's go. Let's get it going.
And Manley.
Let's get it going. And right about now, I think it's time we get it going.
I mean, I don't know, guys. Like, it's pretty good. There's a difference. Like, yeah, let me know in the comments below what you really hear the differences as. Like, to me, it kind of sounds like just the difference between a condenser microphone and a dynamic microphone. Like, This SM7, if I recorded a vocal through that, the way I mix it, there is a like 200 hertz to 500 hertz, a lower mid-range thing that I spend a lot of time, you know, kind of dialing in. And the dynamic, the directionalness of it, you know, just there's dynamic mics and condenser mics function different. Sometimes proximity effect on dynamic mics, I find myself having to work with a little bit. But like, aside from that, I don't know. I think it sounds pretty good. Let's listen to it in isolation right here. Here's the $1 in isolation. No plugins at all aside from auto-tune. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Compare to the Manley. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Yeah, definitely some of that lower mid-range woof that we talked about. But like I said, I would expect that in a, you know, an SM7, you know, to me, the Manley sounds a lot better, a lot crisper right off the gate. But this thing through the chain of plugins isn't so bad. Let's do one more listen in full context of the track to compare the differences. Here is the Manley.
You ready, set? Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Let's go, let's go. Let's get it going. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Let's get it going. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going.
And here's our $1 friend.
On your mark, get ready, set. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Let's go, let's go. Let's get it going. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going. Let's get it going. Right about now, I think it's time we get it going.
So what are the takeaways from that? I want to hear from you guys in the comments. What do you think the takeaways are? But here's my biggest takeaway. Like, just because something is quote unquote a crappy, cheap, inexpensive piece of gear doesn't mean that it's not a workable piece of gear. And by the same token, just because something's a nice piece of gear, I love my Manley Reference Cardoid, I don't plan on getting rid of it anytime soon. I'm going to keep rolling with it. And honestly, when an artist is in the studio with me, next time an artist is going to be in the studio tomorrow, I'm probably not going to pop open this microphone. I'm probably going to use that, like my chain, my template, all that set up for it. And it's a great microphone. I trust it. I know it works, all of that. But I don't know if it's a $3,000 difference, truthfully. Really, when I listen back to this, kind of in the moment here live with you guys, no bias, my takeaway is you can kind of make any workable piece of gear work for you if you're willing to work with it a little bit. You know, kind of same thing with stock plugins in your computer, stock synths. Like if you're willing to just work it a little bit, like sure, sometimes the nice piece of gear is nice and convenient, or sometimes that shiny new plugin that you're just drooling over is really worth it. It can give you an unfair advantage. But I think like what we saw here is that I took a sound and off the jump, it didn't sound maybe quite as good as the Manley. It sounded fine, but maybe not quite as good as the Manley. But with a little bit of tweaking, with a little bit of working with it, we got it to a pretty usable place. And I think that if you just heard that song with this microphone right here and didn't have the Manley to compare it to, I don't think anybody would think anything of it. And that's even those of us who are nerds, you know, spending our time watching and making YouTube content over microphones. Your average listener, especially, like, they're not going to know the difference, nor are they going to care. What they're going to care way more about, and what they should be way more concerned about, is how does this song make me feel? Do I like this song? Do I not like it? How does it hit me? What kind of impression does it leave me with? And how does it make me feel? And really, as record makers, as artists, producers, songwriters, mixers, mastering engineers, here working on music, like that's our goal. That's our job at the end of the day. It's to make listeners feel something. It's to give the listeners a song and a meaning and a vibe to connect to. So for me, I think that's the takeaway from this. It's a reminder of what our job is as record makers. And I think we showed right here, with some skill, with some craft, with some experience, you can get some pretty great results with technically subpar gear. So again, if this video was helpful and brought any value to you, it would mean the world if you hit that thumbs up, dropped a comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell. I'm more excited than ever about this YouTube channel. The response that I've gotten from you guys in the really short amount of time, just a couple of months that I've been at this thing, has been So amazing. I'm so grateful for you guys. I have so many videos in the queue in the pipeline that I'm so excited about. Like I said, more excited than ever. So can't wait to keep bringing you guys as much content and as much value as I possibly can. Thanks so much for watching. Here's to making better music, even if it is with technically subpar gear. We saw right here it's possible. And until then, we'll see you guys real soon.